Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. Today I am playing with Brusho and I'm also playing with my Inktense pencils and possibly my Inktense extra large blocks. So if you don't have any Brusho, you can kind of makeshift some Brusho-like effects with the Inktense. So come and join me. So I have this little piece of screening from the hardware store, and it's like a sandpaper kind of screening. I'll have to put in the description exactly what it is. I'm not sure exactly what to tell you. It's 120, whatever it is. But you can see I have worked with it before, and it works really nice to get speckly kinds of effects. So if you're unfamiliar with Brusho, that's the kind of thing that it does. And this is a way to do it without having Brusho. You can use watercolor pencils, regular watercolor pencils, but it won't be as bright as it is with Inktense pencils. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration. I'm going to spray some water down with my mister and grab a couple colors. Let's see. And all you do is kind of, you can see it's just kind of goes, you're kind of sanding the end of your pencil. And I will, if you're not familiar with Brusho, I'll show you that next, and you can see how it kind of mimics it. This is just a back of a scrap piece of paper. But I'm going to take a damp brush, and I can kind of use it to spread this out, make potential flowers or what have you. And you still have this nice wash kind of thing behind it. Now if I spritz it again, that will kind of set the extra pencil that is not, that I haven't drawn with or painted with. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the moisture. Now within that, you could, I dip my pencil in some water and you can kind of just play with it that way and get some centers on your flowers or some petals or what have you. It works quite nice and it looks kind of cool. So that is one way to get a Brusho-like effect. Now here is actual Brusho. I'm going to do the same thing, and you'll see that this is a lot more intense. Let's see if I can get somewhat of the same kind of colors. Ooh, really isn't, or I don't have a bright green. Green is, greens are kind of weird. They're all kind of weird. Brusho is just kind of weird. see rose red? And now you can see how much more intense the Brusho is. But you do get a kind of similar effect with the Inktense pencils. Just looks a lot more laid back now that I have the Brusho on the other side. So if you're unfamiliar with Brusho, Brusho is this product with lots of little teensy weensy crystals of many different colors. So it might say that it's green, but it's got blue and orange and yellow and all sorts of colors inside it. If you were to take that color and mix it on a palette, then it would look green. But when you sprinkle it on here and all its little parts are still separated, you get this crazy intense like bursts of color. There's also Ken Oliver color bursts, and these work much the same as Brusho. Let me show you a Brusho. That's a Brusho bottle. Works best with these if you poke a hole in the top and put a push pin. You can open them up and use a dry brush with them. They have a tendency to go everywhere. So you really need to be careful about what clothing you're wearing. Maybe an apron is a good idea. And after you're done, wipe your surface off really, really good. Don't have any extra paper, like loose papers around that you want to paint on in the future, because if they get any Brusho on them, you will see it for, well, forever. It doesn't go away. You can't get it off. My sister kind of contaminated some of her papers in a sketchbook, and Brusho was popping up for pages and pages because it's kind of hard to contain. But anyway, you can see you get kind of a similar effect. It's just way more muted. Now, if you want to intensify it a little bit, I have these Inktense XL blocks, and they're pretty intense. And I can come in here and use that a little bit to encourage the brighter colors. So that's a way to kind of get around the Brusho and still get a Brusho-like effect. But there's only so many of the colors of these XLs. They're a little more limited than the amount of colors that you get in the Inktense pencils. There's a lot more colors in pencils. So anyway, so today I am going to be working with Brusho with some Inktense pencils, although I am not going to be using this for this painting. But I just thought that was an interesting way to get the same effect or a similar effect. So I'm working on a Blick block. This one is hot press, and it's 100% cotton, 140 pound. And I'm just going to paint some loose flowers using my Brusho and my Inktense pencils. You can see I have been working with it this morning. It gets all over everything, but it is a lot of fun to work with. So I am going to start this process by just spritzing in one little spot with my mister. I have a big mister and I have a tiny mister, and I'm going to use both. So in that little area, I'm going to use some orange Brusho. And I'm going to use some lemon yellow. just going to tweak it and kind of pull some flowers out with my brush. I think I'm going to do a little bit of orange in there too. In my head, I am seeing a bouquet of wildflowers, or assorted flowers, not necessarily true wildflowers. Okay. I'm going to add some purple, or not purple, I'm going to add some fuchsia, some Ken Oliver Color Burst fuchsia, and I'm going to put that up here. Do this first and get a little bunch up here. And I'm going to add a little yellow to that too, only this time I'm just using yellow, not lemon. And again, same sort of thing. I just want to tweak some flowers out, only this time, instead of a daisy kind of flower, I'm going more for a peony-ish, or chrysanthemum, or layered kind of flower. And now I'm going to put a little spot up there and a couple down here. And I'm going to get out my purple. Now I'm thinking more of a soft tulip kind of shape. This is the kind of bouquet that's at the grocery store checkout line when you get that urge to have some spring in your house early in the spring or late winter, more likely. Get a little darker up there. Okay. And now I want a little greenery in there, and I'm going to use my little mister so I have a little bit more control over where it goes. Not much. what's fun about this is it's got so many different colors in it. A little more water than I want. Now I'm going to take a little dish here and I'm going to mix up some gray, a lot of water. And I'm going to paint the vase that my bouquet is in. You can see that it's still got all sorts of speckles. And I'm just loosely going around my flower. If there's one thing about Brusho that you really have to like embrace, it's that you have no control. It's very much a medium where it just has a mind of its own. As much as watercolor in general does, Brusho is that on steroids. It just does what it wants. And that's what you get. So I'm going to see if I can blot this a little bit so it's not so dark. Okay. Now we're going to work with the pencils. I'm looking for my olive green, which has grown feet or legs and walked. I think that's it. And I'm dipping it in the water before I use it. If you're unfamiliar with Inktense, they are water-soluble pencils, and they're ink-based, so they're very intense. Probably where they got their name from. Let's do it that way. But they are so much fun to play with. Some spiky things are always fun. And then if you want to, you can get in to the centers with some Inktense and really kind of tweak your flowers a little bit. Maybe a little red. Not sure which one of these I want. I think this one wins. This one looks like it's kind of off on its side. Just give those a little more definition. And we'll work on the purple a little bit. They work so well together, the two things. Now I want a bottom down here. I'm going to add a little purple to my gray. A little more purple to my gray. And really, really water it down. Now I want it a little darker on this side, so I'm going to add a little more of the gray back in so I can have a nice shadow under it so it's not just floating. And I would like to darken this side a little bit. Because that side's sun, the light would be coming from this side, probably not the sun, but maybe. I don't, sitting in a sunny kitchen. Just gives it a little more dimension. And now what's kind of fun is you can take that, and if you're really careful, and I mean careful, because it's released to go crazy, I'm just going to mist a little bit here and there, and I'm going to try and splash a little more Brusho on there. I'm trying to find lemon. There we go. It really, you put on more than you think you do. It's really hard to emphasize that enough. Purple, what color am I looking for? Rose. It was rose. Oh, see, now I just went a little crazy there with the rose. And I'm going to mist it again from up high and just kind of lightly activate those because I don't want them to go crazy. But I do want them to get started. And I think I'm going to take a pencil and try and deepen that shadow. Just need to find the right one. This is charcoal gray. Little shadow under the flowers and the leaves where it meets the vase. More definition. I think I would like a little more definition on that. I think I need a darker red is what I need. Maybe. No, I don't like the purple. Maybe this one. Just to pick up the dark parts in the Brusho. And see if I can get this to pop a little more. Okay, I think I'm going to call that done. Here's the charcoal. It's dry enough. Take the tape off and let's see what we have. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. Get a pack of Brusho. It's not horribly expensive. And you get quite a few in a package. Color Burst too, I think, is even a better price, and you get a nice selection of colors. That's kind of fun. It's very loose. Takes advantage of the Brusho without having it get too crazy. Brusho can get really muddy too if you're not really careful with it. So you just got to be careful when you're using it. So if you like this video and you got anything out of it, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future videos, hit the cute little bell. And if you want to help me keep producing videos, you can buy me a cup of coffee. The link's in the description. And if you would like to, please check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork and some originals and my cute little monsters for sale. So until next time, thanks for watching.